What? Well, look at you. Care to introduce yourself, party crasher?
There's not a lot I enjoy more than spending a day kicking back on the sofa with a good old tactics game. Shove some characters on a grid and give them some special abilities and I'm a happy man. But even I have to admit that a lot of games in the genre feel pretty similar. Atlas has decided that Persona 5 Tactica was not going to fall into that standard tactics game camp and created a tactics game which captures that Persona 1 more combat perfectly. After the events of Persona 5, the Phantom Thieves are trying to enjoy a relaxing summer when they're pulled into another world. They can't be sure if this bizarre European castle environment is a metaverse or something entirely new. But when they meet the evil dictator Marie running things, they know they're in trouble. With the aid of new character Irina and her resistance, the gang set about overthrowing this powerful foe and saving the day. The story is as off the wall as you'd expect from a Persona game and engaging from start to finish. The cast is just wonderful as well, packed with those familiar characters that Persona fans know and love. If anything, I think that the personalities of the cast in Persona 5 Tactica shine through better in this game than the others they've appeared in. Everyone turns it up to 11 since you get to spend a little less time hanging out with them in a world full of enemies, and it made me appreciate them even more. Because there's much more fighting than hanging out, it's fortunate that the Phantom Thieves are pretty experienced scrappers at this point. Battle takes place on grids and involves teams of 3 party members taking on a whole load of bad guys. The odds are very rarely in your favour, which means you'll need to take advantage of cover and bonus attacks as much as possible. So when you're not hiding behind a wall or a crate, characters will be exposed and knocked down if they take damage. This works both ways though, and it means that you'll spend your turn trying to manipulate the enemies in a way that means you just keep getting to attack over and over again to turn the tide of battle. Once you mix in the ability to melee enemies, to shove them out of cover, and spells to stun or launch them around, combat becomes one big, beautiful puzzle. Perhaps even more devastating than getting extra turns to shoot monsters are your special all-out attacks. Anytime you knock down an enemy, you'll be granted the opportunity to unleash one of these on your next turn, and activating this powerful attack will deal massive damage to any enemy that's in the triangle your units create between them. You can move your characters before letting an all-out attack rip too, and with a bit of practice, whole stages of enemies can be wiped out by these mega moves. By using basic attacks and the environment to your advantage, you can often beat some of the earlier stages of Persona 5 Tactica, but as the game progresses you'll need to use your personas to your advantage. Each character except Irina can equip a persona, and they grant bonus stats and powerful abilities to the person equipping them. I always tried to keep a mass healing ability available for those tougher fights, but devastating status effects and powerful damaging flames are just as useful too. Between fights, you'll be invited into the series' staple Velvet Room to fuse persona and even create more powerful demon allies. This works similarly to previous entries in the series with inherited skills and a level cap to keep in mind when creating new ghoulish allies. It wouldn't feel like a Persona game without making monsters, so I'm glad this feature found its way into Persona 5 Tactica. There's a whole lot else to keep you busy back at the Resistance hideout too. You can have conversations with your buds, purchase weapons and even power up the party using the skill tree. With the SP you earn on your adventure, you can boost the stats and abilities of the team to make them unstoppable in battle, and everything from new powerful spells to extra movement are all available to unlock. Every node you put points into makes you feel significantly more competent in battle, and if you're not happy with your choices, you can reset them with no questions asked. And all of these different systems really come together when you're thrown into a battle, and I've not even scratched the surface when it comes to the different elements that make up Persona 5 Tactica. There are different submissions to accomplish in each stage, environmental hazards like explosive barrels and raised platforms, and even huge puzzle-based boss fights. There wasn't a single moment in my playthrough of Tactica where I felt that the game was getting stale, and I can't think of many tactics games that achieve that feat. As well as being a sensational tactics game, Persona 5 Tactica has all the bells and whistles of a top-tier Persona game as well. Those stylish menus and vibrant, if a little different stylistically, visuals are such a breath of fresh air, and the soundtrack is suitably banging too. It's hard to think of many problems with Persona 5 Tactica really. There's one very specific annoyance I had with the weapons where you have to buy from one store but sell somewhere else, which is really bizarre. It's also a game that's hard to easily recommend if you haven't played Persona 5 at all, and as much as I think everyone should play Persona 5, it's not easy to find 100 hours of free time just to spend in order to catch up to play this game. But Persona 5 Tactica is unlike any other tactics games I've ever played, and is constantly throwing new things at you from start to finish. It has all the charm and style of a mainline Persona game, while providing a different kind of gameplay that I just couldn't get enough of. There are very few casts of characters that I'd be as happy to spend as much time with as I have with Joker in the gang, and to be honest, I wouldn't change a minute of it, which is why I'm giving this one a 9 out of 10.
Time to go wild!
Hey, Adam from GodIsAGeek.com here. Thank you for watching our video review by Lyle Carr of Persona 5 Tactica. He reviewed it on Xbox Series S and also played it on Switch, which you can check out a separate review of over on GodIsAGeek.com. If you enjoyed this review, then do hit the thumbs up button, do click the subscribe and the bell button. That's the important one, because then you get a little notification on your phone that says, hey, they've uploaded a new video, that channel that you really like, and, you know, go and watch it right now. So do that. Thanks for your time, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.